Hey everyone, this is John Schneider from 3D-Fuel. This is me coming at you with what should be hopefully a recurring, more regular video series. But for right now, this is just kind of an early trial run at what I'm hoping will become a more of an in-depth dive into just kind of 3D printing, the industry, kind of covering some news, and then also diving into what is going on at 3D-Fuel, different ways to get more out of what you're currently doing with 3D-Fuel filaments, talk about what some of our customers are using 3D-Fuel for, and also I want to be able to answer some questions. I know that we have a lot of questions that come up both on the 3D printing side of things, some general manufacturing side of things, and also e-commerce and the marketing side. So first, a little bit about me. I am John Schneider. I'm the founder and CEO of Schneider Enterprises, which is currently the company that is manufacturing 3D-Fuel filaments. So I've been involved with 3D-Fuel for well over a decade. I've been making 3D printing filament in the Fargo area since 2015, and I've been in the 3D printing world since 2012. That's when I picked up my first 3D printer. It was a PrinterBot Junior V2. Those of you that remember that far back, it was a wooden laser cut kit. You had to assemble most of the electronics yourself. You had to put everything together. If you haven't looked at those plywood 3D-Fuel printers from a decade plus ago, it's definitely worth taking a look and checking them out. Things have changed quite a bit since then. In particular, so let's talk a little bit about what has been released in the last week, at least what sort of news has been shared in the last week. So I think it was a week ago today, Bambu Lab unveiled their H2S. So H2S, kind of the, I don't even want to say the baby brother, but it is the single extruder version or single nozzle version of the Bambu Lab H2D. This is a larger format 3D printer, and when I say large format, I'm not talking Orange Storm Giga large format. You're not printing meter cube size parts, but this is going to be good for doing things like cosplay helmets, and really kind of uses that same Bambu Lab ecosystem. The printer that you've gotten very familiar with. I mean, it's just Bambu is doing pretty much everything right for for a consumer 3D printer company. I know that there are, well, maybe less now, but historically over the past couple of years, you have some people that are saying like, hey, Bambu Lab, they are not embodying the spirit of 3D printing, and that may be very true. If you're looking at like your Lulzbots and Prusas and other open source printers of the world, I mean, my first printer, that PrinterBot Junior, that's what that was. That's what that started out as. Was a it was an open source laser cut wooden kit. I mean, the industry today is built on the shoulders of these giants. But what Bambu has done has been to kind of close the loop in terms of user experience. You have people that are now not needing to have the depth of information or the depth of experience in 3D printing in order to be getting really good parts. They've just kind of made this, it's changed so many things. The printers are faster, they're more reliable, they're easier to use, and this is in turn causing a lot of content creators, people that are actually doing 3D design work, to do much better work, because now they're able to be compensated for it because they have enough people out there that have 3D printers that can justify spending $5 or $10 a month on a Patreon for the design files that they're making. Or if they're charging $5 for a file, or $20 or $30 or $50, there's people that have 3D printers that are capable of printing those parts, and they don't need to be an expert in it. So Bambu Lab doing great things, and they've been pushing so many other people in the industry forward. I know that they've lit a fire under Prusa, for example, and really everyone else out there, Creality, and we'll talk about Snapmaker, the U1 in a second, but the H2S, that's all well and good. So really reliable, larger format 3D printer, basically single nozzle version of the H2D. Yes, you can add the laser to it. I don't know why you would want to have a laser and 3D printer in the same device. It's like, pick something that you can be really good at. If you haven't done laser cutting before or laser engraving, it generates a lot of smoke. It generates all sorts of residue that you wouldn't want to have inside of a 3D printer. At least I certainly wouldn't. I have experience with a 50-watt CO2 laser. That thing was a beast, but you had to have it exhausted to the outside. It generated a lot of smoke, especially when you're doing things with wood and with plastic. Oh my gosh, don't even get me started on laser cutting acrylic. But the H2S, it is capable of having that lower powered 10 watt laser, but not the more powerful 40 watt laser that the H2D is capable of having. But the bigger news, in my opinion, and this is huge, is the Vortek nozzle changing system. So if you haven't already watched the video on this, go please watch Bambu Lab's video that's talking about this, just kind of really teasing it at this point. They say that it will be releasing in Q4 of 2025, so in my mind that means it could be December 31st, and it is still technically Q4 of 2025, but it's pretty clear that this was, I can't say it's a reaction to the Snapmaker U1 and other multi-tool head type printers like the Prusa XL, for example. It's clearly not a reaction. The timing of releasing the information is a reaction. So the success of the Snapmaker U1, which I think at this point is in excess of $15 million. I mean, I backed one. For the 3D-Fuel side, we do so many material profiles that we develop in-house. We need to have the hardware so that we can truly validate to make sure that the profile is going to work the way that we intend it to, so that it's as easy to use as possible. So we backed one, but I haven't checked the campaign in, gosh, a week or two. But the Vortek changing system. So this is a little different, where the Prusa XL, the Snapmaker U1, you have an entirely separate tool head that will, basically your gantry comes up, loads it up, and then pulls it back, and then now you're off to the races and you're printing with a different material. This is really important because it speeds up color changes. It dramatically reduces the amount of purge that or material that needs to be purged out when switching from material A to material B, or color A to color B. And you can also do different materials. For example, we have Pro PCTG. It's a great, super durable material, and with a standard PLA, you can have that be a really good breakaway interface support material, but you don't want to pass them through the same nozzles, otherwise you need to be purging an incredible amount of material out. Their melt flow indexes are just so different from each other. So you have the H2S, this Vortek system. The cool thing about this Vortek system is you will be able to upgrade the H2S, you'll be able to upgrade the H2D with it. Bambu's already said, hey, this is going to take like 6 hours, and you need to have a pretty solid technical background to be doing that. I don't think it's going to be all that intense, but they're probably right on the estimated time it's going to take to do this upgrade. So you're probably going to be better off doing, buying it already integrated into a printer, which I believe they are releasing and calling the H2C. Now, we don't have pricing, we don't have a release date on that yet, aside from Q4 2025, but this is a huge thing. Then on the heels of that, Prusa teased that they are also going to be having a multi-tool head system, and not the Prusa XL, which has been around for a few years now. It definitely had its bugs. It's certainly not perfect now, but it does a really solid job once you get it dialed in. But Prusa is teasing this multi-tool head system for the Prusa Core 1. And I am 98% confident that this is based off of the Bondtech Index system, which go check out a video on that. Very cool system, very lightweight, very fast, doesn't take up a lot of room, which is important when you're talking these smaller form factor printers like the Core 1. I mean, it's certainly not a mini printer by any means, but it's not a larger printer like a Creality K2 Plus, or like the Prusa XL, or like the H2D from Bambu. And I mean, the reason why I have such a high degree of confidence in this is I saw the Bondtech Index system running at Rapid TCT this last year, and just the look of it in the photo that Prusa shared looks pretty similar. And also, and this is almost more important, the fact that Bondtech has retweeted it and basically quoted it when they retweeted. So, like, it doesn't get much clearer than that. Those are kind of the big pieces of news this last week. Moving forward, I'll have kind of more in-depth news, but I really just want to make sure that this video gets out today so I can kind of get going on this regular cadence of releases. Now, talking about 3D-Fuel news, we've had a few different things happening in the last month, and we expect to have a lot more happening within the next month to 2 months, and you'll be hearing news from us about, probably once a week, different things that are happening. But one of the big things that has happened last week is we released 5 new colors of Pro PCTG. So we released a color called Toolbox Red. earlier this year, and that was in response to one of our 3D print farm customers that prints tool holders, tool accessories, etc. for Milwaukee tools. And we had our fire engine red for Pro PCTG, and we also had our iron red. But neither of them were close enough. The iron red was too dark, the fire engine red was too bright, too light, and they really wanted an exact color match. So we did that, but obviously we cannot call it Milwaukee red. So we had it, we called it Toolbox red. And it was just the first of a lineup of Toolbox colors in this series. So the 5 newest colors that we have in the Toolbox lineup are Toolbox Teal for Makita, Toolbox Green for Ryobi, Toolbox Yellow for DeWalt, Toolbox Orange for Rigid, and Toolbox Blue for Dremel. So you can kind of tell we're really going after the Home Depot crowd with these colors. We already are seeing really, really good response. They're all very popular colors at this point. So it shows that we made the right, we did make the right decision in deciding to have these be the newest colors. We're going to have more color news coming in the next, I'd say within the next week. I think by the time I release the video next week, we'll have more information that we've shared. But the other big piece of news that I can share right now is that we have added, we've added more production equipment to our production facility here in Fargo. Right now, it's going to double our production capacity. We're already running 24 hours a day, 5, sometimes 6 days a week just to try and keep up. And you'll notice that we do run out of certain things. Like we have some of our lower demand colors that are not able to be kept in stock all the time because we're focusing on the high priority, the higher volume moving colors. And then of course new colors and new colors in Pro PCTG. We really feel strongly about this material. We want to make sure that we have good color options available for all of you. And I just realized that I'm not recording audio through this microphone on my desk. So all of the audio that you've heard up to this point is going to be from what was within the camera, and now we're going to be recording audio from the Blue Yeti mic. So for all of you that have stuck with me up to this point, I'm sorry for the audio quality, and it'll be better this time and better next time, and I'll make sure to double and triple and quadruple check this for future videos. I guess with that, I hope to have more information to share with you about the new production equipment. We're still getting it all commissioned. We're waiting on our electrician to come in so that he can get that all, get it all wired up. We do still have some more resin dryers that are yet to arrive. So right now, the dryers that we have they're allocated to our existing production. So until we get those new line, until the dryers show up, we can't dry resin. Well, not production quantities of resin to run through the new production lines. But I'm pretty excited about what we have going on with that, and we should have more to share moving forward. I guess at this point, if you have questions about really anything that 3D-Fuel has going on, whether it's specific materials, whether it is like if there's an issue that you're encountering, I know with Pro PCTG, it's a brand new material to so many people, and there are not default profiles out there. So we really want to help to make sure you're having a good experience with that. But if you have questions, and I'm gonna be ripping this idea from my buddy Gabe over at Slant 3D. Just comment down below, type in question, colon, and then type your question. That makes it easier to find later on. I'm certainly not buried under the amount of questions and comments on videos that he is, but I do think it's a good idea. And I also am I'm definitely cribbing what he has for a format for his videos too. So Gabe at Slant, huge thank you for just kind of laying out the format, finding something that works. I'm going to be putting my own spin on all of this, of course, but I think the overall format, it's a great idea. And in case you're wondering what that format is, it's, first 15 seconds, give an overview of what you're going to be talking about in the video. Next 15, or not 15 minutes, but next section is going to be talking over 3D printing news. I've been in the industry for over a decade. I definitely have seen some things. There's going to be some things that I can't talk about either because of existing or past NDAs. So there are some things I can't talk about, but
For the things I can talk about and I can give my perspective on, I will certainly do that, especially as it relates to doing 3D printing as a business or manufacturing in the United States as a business, because that is certainly a subject that is fraught with nuance. I went to school for marketing. I didn't go to school for engineering. I didn't go to school for really manufacturing or production. This is just something that I fell into. And so a lot of what I'm going to be looking at is kind of the marketing angle, but also tied with a lot of the operations experience that I've gained over the decade plus of running 3D printing businesses. So with that, I thank you for sticking through this and for kind of muddying through the audio issues that I have encountered this first time around. And I hope to talk to you next time. And I hope you have some good questions down below. That's always good for having ideas of things to talk about. So thank you again, and we'll talk soon. Bye.